top hats and mutton shoes, erotic Kingtime's midnight cruise, Berlin Gay Society in 1903. Sigmund Freud's Vienna's hype identifies the homo type, the intermediate sex, and heterodoxy. The gay wave moves across the sea, hello there Miss Liberty. Betty Boop is hot and hooches out in the cold. Greenwich Village, Bloomsbury, gays in high society. Harlem Night, Chicago fights, Leopold and Lowell. Pride, gotta have pride. Better run too long to keep it inside. Pride gets it back and watch from the side. Pride is power and power is pride. It's time to celebrate all the colors of the rainbow. Get out into the streets, follow the tide.
Hi, I'm Brian McNaught, and this is Stonewall Portraits, Profiles in Pride, a half-hour oral history with some of the people who have touched the lives of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people in a profound way. And today's special guest is my friend, Tom Wilson Weinberg. 10% Review. Tom is a musician and a songwriter, and you gave voice to gay people early on in music. There were not a lot of people, not a lot of men at the time that you were writing your music, and wrote 10% Review, which was what year? What year was 10% Review?
It started in Boston.
You're just so taken with me that you don't know what you're thinking about, do you?
In 1986.
So 1986 in Boston.
And then it went from there to, let's see, it was the first summer in Provincetown was I beg your pardon, it started in 85.
Okay.
At Arlington Street Church.
Okay, in Boston.
And it came to Provincetown in the summer of 86.
Tell us what 10%, because a lot of people know 10% Review. Do you think that would be what you're most remembered for? Is that the lead?
Well, so far.
Yeah. Well, that's sorry.
I'm in mid-career, Brian.
Yeah, I understand that. So am I. I haven't decided what I want to be.
That is the show that got the most exposure.
Yeah.
It traveled around the country. It had some 50 productions. So yes, that's the show that I'm best known for, and I'm proud of it.
And in the songs, talk to us if you would. So it's 1985.
Yes.
Is this your debut into the gay community?
No, actually, I had been writing and performing since the mid-'70s, and I was singing at the few gay venues there were then, coffee houses.
Like to name some, just so, because people around the country have access to this.
Well, one in
the globe.
In Philadelphia, which is my town.
Yes.
And then I sang in New York. There was a theater company called The Glines, founded by John Glines. Glines. I sang at his space.
And what did you sing? What were?
Well, songs that I had written myself.
And about what?
And they were pretty much all gay-themed, political, satirical, serious, funny.
Love.
Always trying to poke fun at us and the world around us, but also, I think, unabashedly gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, affirmative.
Uh-huh.
And I tried to touch on all the big themes at that time. It was really when I started, and my first record album came out in 1979 that was called Gay Name Game.
With Gay Name Game, yes.
And,
I think we have a little photo of that. Yeah.
And
what was that?
Well, that was the songs that I had been writing for the previous few years and singing. And you asked about coffee houses. There was one in Baltimore and one in Washington.
Okay.
And I sang at some gay pride events in those years. And so those songs went on the first album.
I know you play the piano.
I do.
Do you play any other instrument?
Well, my first instrument from 4th grade was clarinet.
Okay. So did you play the clarinet at the gay pride parades?
No.
No.
I was in a high school band.
But you and Bill Clinton, right?
Yeah, no, he was a saxophonist.
Oh, he was saxophone. Shows how much I know, right? So,
But that's how I learned the notes of the
well,
scale.
what
and
did you,
I
what
studied
did you,
piano.
when you sang at the Pride events, did you accompany yourself with piano?
I did. Yes.
Do you need that in order to sing?
Oh, yes.
You can't sing a cappella?
Well, in recent years, I've developed a little rap persona.
Oh,
Day Old White Bread Rappin' is my rap name.
day old.
Day Old White Bread Rappin'.
Okay, so
and rappin' is spelled W-R-A-P-P-I-N.
Oh,
apostrophe.
rappin'. Yeah. Oh, apostrophe. So day old.
White
Okay,
bread.
white bread rappin'. So all right. So so I want to hear more of your story, but I would love to have you do your rapping for
Oh
me.
no, that's not
Oh,
gonna
why
happen.
not? I'll
Oh,
do
no,
it too. I'll
No, I only rap for a paying audience.
I'll pay you.
No, I wouldn't.
How much do I have to pay?
No, no.
Okay, let's go
just
back.
talk
All
today.
right, all
We'll
right.
just talk.
So, so let's go back. So 10% review, and this was a collection of songs sung by not just one person, but a group of people.
Right.
Did they dance as they sang it? And There was
Yes.
choreographed?
Yes.
Did you travel with the groups that went around the country? You said they were different production.
Yes,
Did
well,
you travel with them, or?
I did with some. Let me just mention for the chronology that after Gay Name Game was another solo album called All American Boy.
Okay.
That was in '82. And then '85 was the beginning of 10% Review. And to answer your question, I accompanied the original production. And then when we came to Provincetown that summer, and for the next 4 summers, I accompanied it the first 2 years. And then someone else came in and did the accompaniments.
Okay.
And the show opened in New York in '88. So it was actually the summer of '88. It was running here and in New York.
It was big, though,
Well,
right?
it had a lot of productions, and we did a tour, and I went on one of the tours, so I was at the piano. But then it was published by a company called Broadway Play Publishing Company, and it came out as a recording. And then other theater groups started producing it. So I had written it, but I had nothing to do with those productions. And when I was able to, I would go and see them. But many of them came and went without me seeing them. Some of them were what they call sit-down productions, which is to say a theater booked for a period of time.
Right.
Los Angeles, Houston, Miami.
Okay. Did you get money for all of this?
Yes,
So you got royalties.
yes.
Do you still get royalties for 10% review?
Very modest.
Yeah.
They were modest.
That's like
they were
my
modest.
books. Here, Brian, you got a check for $62.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the royalties
Quarterly.
were modest then, and they're modest now.
Yeah. So, but then, and you and John White have been together for how many years now?
37.
37,
Yep.
2 more than Ray and me. Yeah. and John's a doctor, actually
Yes.
a researcher.
Correct.
Yes. So you were together when you did the 10% review?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was he always very supportive of you doing music?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's quite a musical person himself, so he's always the first to hear a song or hear it while it's being developed, and he has good feedback. He's more helpful to me in music, I think it's fair to say, than I am to him in science.
Yeah, it was that way with Ray on Wall Street. I didn't help much with the investment.
Occasionally, he tells me I come up with a scientific insight,
Huh?
but that's just a fluke.
If I can back you up, did you grow up in Philadelphia?
No, I'm originally from Syracuse.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Syracuse University, Orangeman.
Well, yes, I
Yeah.
didn't go to Syracuse. I
No.
went to the University of Pennsylvania in
Okay.
Philadelphia.
Your folks alive?
No, both deceased.
But they lived long enough to watch you achieve this success?
Yes, they did.
How were they with that?
I would say mixed. I think they liked that I was having a career as a musician. My mother actually came to see my shows. My father was quite reticent about it, I would say. Not ashamed of it, but he asked me on a few occasions, well, couldn't it be more lucrative if you wrote for a general audience?
Yeah,
And
my
that's what I
father
think.
said the same thing. He said, read your book, found it interesting, when are you going to write about something else?
Right, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I did have one sort of commercial success while my parents were still living. A song of mine went into a film, and my father was quite intrigued by that because it was a pretty high-profile.
So tell me the film.
The film was called Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh, Beavis and Butthead Do America,
It
Tom
was,
Wilson Weinberg.
It was,
Wow.
the song was called Lesbian Seagull, and it went on the
Was that a big?
soundtrack.
So it was a background, was it, or did
was-
they
no,
sing
no,
it?
they sang
I have to admit, I
Yeah.
didn't see Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, what a cultural gap.
I know. I had to tell John Waters I hadn't seen Pink Flamingos either. So,
I've seen them both,
oh,
actually.
all right. So that was pretty cool. Did you make the
Well,
most
yeah.
money from that?
I did.
Yeah. Was there
yeah.
ever an issue with you and John about you bringing money in?
Well,
Because you
no, I
didn't
would
make
say
make
not.
tons of money
No,
with your singing, songwriting, and the gay community. It's hard to make a living doing gay-oriented
Yeah.
things.
Well, I guess that's true, although there are probably some pretty big exceptions to
Oh,
that
well,
as well.
Ellen
but-
DeGeneres.
Right.
But, well, she's not gay-oriented, but it's changed dramatically. But when you
Yes.
did your work, it was not, there
Well,
wasn't
right.
a lot of gay singers.
Those early
songwriters.
coffee house appearances, it was sort of pass the hat sort of thing. Later, I actually did earn some royalties and performance fees, but very small. You know, gay choruses sing my material. I
Yeah, I
might
wanna-
get a check for $50 or something.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's all right.
has that been a disappointment to you that being a talented singer-songwriter never brought in the kind of money that other singer-songwriters might have brought in?
Actually, no.
No?
You know, it's always nice to get a paycheck for what you do, and I continue to like having things commissioned or have somebody produce a show
Mm-hmm.
and get a check in the mail. There is something affirming about that, but I've never chased after commercial success. I'm very stubbornly doing what I want to do.
That's great.
And
Well,
in
but
quite
that's
an independent way. So I suppose if I had wanted commercial success, I may or may not have gotten it. When this Lesbian Seagull song went into the film,
Beavis and Butthead Do America. Yeah.
I had to hire a lawyer because there were contracts to be signed. I had never done that before,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we were dealing with Paramount Pictures and MTV, and then Universal Records, David Geffen Company. So I suddenly needed a lawyer, and
Uh-huh.
he was an entertainment lawyer,
Uh-huh.
and he said that all of his clients, except me, are constantly trying to get this kind of a deal. For me, it was just a fluke. It fell
Right.
into my lap
Right.
because, I'll be very brief about it, but David Letterman played it on his show.
How did he find it?
It was just a quirky thing. I think a staff member of
Because there
his
was no
found it.
YouTube at the time, right?
No.
Yeah.
But and then the guy who creates Beavis and Butthead, Mike Judge, his name is, he heard it on Letterman and stored it in the back of his mind, and then found me some years later and asked if he could put it in his film.
Huh?
And then it went on the soundtrack, which was a platinum-selling soundtrack. And in fact,
Well, so you
I
had
started
money
telling
from
you this-
that.
yeah. Then my father took an interest.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
quite intrigued by that.
Uh-huh.
There were newspaper articles about the song because it was such an odd thing, and it was sung in the film by Engelbert Humperdinck,
Oh, well.
and he put it in his nightclub act. So it got a little bit.
We're
of
dating
publicity.
ourselves. Not every listener knows who Engelbert
Oh, indeed.
Humperdinck.
Indeed. Even many people our age don't know who he is.
Right,
but
right.
that's all
I
right.
know. So if you would, brothers and sisters, any?
2 brothers.
And are they invested and proud of
Oh,
your
very
work?
much,
So,
yes. Yeah, I'm the middle of 3 sons, very close with both brothers, and they like what I do and are very supportive.
and love
of it.
John, and that's
Oh,
it's all big,
totally.
happy family.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if after you did 10% review and really did create for yourself a nice reputation in the gay community,
Thank you. Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
at that time, I mean, Tom Wilson Weinberg, right? I mean, that was pretty cool. Then you went on to write and I know there's probably stuff in between, but
Yeah.
you wrote a musical about the two guys who were featured in the film Silent Pioneers, and also went on the Phil Donahue show.
That's right.
And again, their names
Gene Harwood.
Gene and Bruce.
Miller.
Yeah, really great. I mean, I used to use that Silent Pioneers in training, and so I would see them dancing together, and they had been together like 50.
Well, they were together at the
how long?
point where Bruce died, 66 years.
66 years they were together.
And I knew Gene. After 10% Review, there was another show of mine produced in New York called Get Used to It. And Gene came to see that show, and he came repeatedly. Bruce was in a nursing home by then.
Oh,
so I never
okay.
really
So that
knew
was
him.
later in their relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gene and I, after he had seen the show 2 or 3 times, he wrote me a letter and asked me to lunch. And he at that time was already around 90. And he was writing a book about their lives, the oldest gay couple in America.
Huh. Did he finish it?
He finished it.
Oh, I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book, and I wrote the 1.5-page foreword
Oh,
for the
good
book.
for
And,
you.
and we became very close.
Uh-huh.
And I started developing, well, actually, the New York City Gay Men's Chorus commissioned me to write a 15-minute musical. And so I based it on their lives. It had 4 songs. When They Meet in 1929, and then during the 1950s, the McCarthy era, when they were kind of in hiding but together, living together. And then in the 80s, when I guess, no, there was a scene in '69, Stonewall, which they didn't relate to. And then in the mid-'80s, when they came out big time and they were the grand marshals of the parade.
So they went from hiding relationship to being grand marshals, and in between appearance on Phil Donahue. So
Yeah.
you wrote a 15-minute segment, 4
Yes.
songs for the Gay Men's Chorus.
Yes.
And that then got bigger. You
Yes.
added more
After
songs
that,
and players, acts.
Yes.
I went and saw that. I did see that.
Oh, yes, right.
It's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I loved the chorus version of it, and it was they sang it at Carnegie Hall. Gene was there, my mother,
When the Gay Men's
my
Chorus
lover,
sang
the
that.
chorus sang it,
Oh,
and
okay.
they sang it 9 times, and a few other choruses have sung it. And then
Not in
and
the
then
same
I
night,
decided-
9 times total.
No, oh no, over the next few years.
Encore.
And then I expanded it to a full-length show, which is the version that you saw.
Yeah.
It went from a cast of 180 and 15 minutes to a cast of 3 and a full-length show.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Thank you.
Now, so was that an opera too, or just a?
No, I would call it a piece of musical theater.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that your most recent piece that is
Well-
well known?
I guess that would be true, yes. I did write one other show called The Teachings of Chairman Rick.
Rick Warren?
No, Rick Santorum.
Oh, Rick Santorum, same sort of ballpark, right?
His lyrics, my music.
Yeah. Oh, you did. So
Yeah.
you took Rick Santorum's words, and he's still adding to them.
Oh,
he's,
yes.
he's opposing he wants "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" back.
That's
if
right.
he's ever elected president, which is unlikely. But so you took his words and put music to
Yeah.
it. Well, that's fun.
And we had a great time with that show, but that's... and
Was it a whole show, or just
yeah.
a song?
Oh,
or?
no, it was a show for
Oh.
we did it for the Philadelphia Fringe Festival, and then we revived it. It was when he was running for the Senate.
Right, which he won. He
no,
won and then lost.
Yeah, he lost the election that we
Oh,
weighed in
so
on.
you
We were responsible.
you had a great influence over his
Absolutely.
being defeated. That's
Yes.
great. So,
And then
you
the-
sure you don't want to do this rap song? I'll do it with you.
Next time, we have to rehearse.
Yeah, all right. No, I don't rehearse for you. So you say that this is you're only halfway through your career.
Yes.
All right.
I actually...
And how old are you?
How old?
Yeah.
66.
60, all right,
Yeah.
so you're much older than I am. I'm 63. So what's next? What do you think?
Well, I've been working for some time on a show about Eleanor Roosevelt and Lorena Hickok.
Loretta Hickok is...
Lorena.
Oh,
yeah.
Lorena Hickok was Eleanor's
Intimate friend.
intimate friend.
Yes. She was a newspaper reporter and worked for the Associated Press. And she was the first female reporter to have her byline on the front page of the New York Times. And she was assigned early on to interview Eleanor Roosevelt. And it was when Franklin was running for his first term as president. And they became extremely close. And Eleanor convinced Hickok to leave the Associated Press and come to work for the administration. And Hickok lived in the White House for 4 years. The Roosevelts lived there for 12.
Right.
And they wrote thousands of letters to each other, which are in the archives. They're at the Roosevelt Museum. And I thought that was a very interesting and romantic story, and so I began to write. And then now I'm working with a book writer, a playwright, Peggy Stafford, and a director, Darren Katz. And we've had some readings of this show in New York, and we're developing it, looking for a theater and a development workshop program. And so that's my primary project at the moment.
So the other two people collaborating with you, all of you sort of do it on, no, you're not paying them.
No.
So you all do it with the hope that one day it'll catch on. Right.
That is correct.
Is that pretty typical with singers, songwriters, producers, that you work on something with friends or colleagues, people you respect?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that very few people are paid in advance to write a piece of theater, even very successful Broadway
Oh, is that right?
playwrights.
Huh.
Each project you start,
Real small?
well, you start with an idea, and
Uh-huh.
nobody comes out of the woodwork to pay you. You have to kind of develop the thing and get a group of people working with you. We have a wonderful cast. It's a 5-character musical, and we're working with terrific Broadway veterans.
So you've written the music?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Most of it, yeah.
So will you sing a little bit of it?
No. No.
Okay, I'll keep trying. But did they ever consummate their friendship as far as your research goes?
Well, the letters would suggest yes, and I wasn't in their bedroom, so I
Right,
don't know. But
yes.
I sort of feel that there's no reason to think otherwise. It was a very loving and passionate relationship, and they traveled together, and they went on camping trips.
Oh, they did.
They shared hotel rooms.
Little Brokeback Mountain with
So,
Eleanor Roosevelt. Yeah.
Whatever, we're not saying in the show this is what they did sexually.
Oh, you're
But
not?
No.
You let the audience leave with their own impressions?
Yes, although I think we have a bias toward thinking that it was a deeply emotional and sexual relationship. But there's no sex on stage.
Did Franklin, well, we're glad to know that, those of you who are going to donate money to this. Did Franklin ever know about that relationship?
Well, it's not entirely clear. I think he must have.
Uh-huh.
Hickok lived in the White House. He and she had a respect for each other and encountered each other many times.
But
and
he
Franklin
was
had-
distracted by Lucy.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
There were 3 primary women in his life other than Eleanor.
Uh-huh. And other than his mother?
Oh, well, 4. Yeah. And I think that he and Eleanor had a close bond, but that early on when she realized that he had other lovers, she moved out of his bedroom, and so their relationship became more political but close.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout their lives, I think they were a couple with a lot going on, mainly what they wanted to do for people and in politics.
I was sad to see that his Georgia retreat just burned down.
Oh, I hadn't heard
Yeah,
that.
the one that he went to the springs water. Yeah,
Warm Springs.
We
where
had visited.
He went to recover from polio.
Right, it just recently burned
I
down.
did not know that.
Yeah.
John's father actually went there when to recover from his polio.
Oh, he did. But Roosevelt was a strong believer in the power of mineral waters,
That's
bathing
right.
in those hot springs. So, Tom, what's after, I mean, is this going to be your focus now for some time, or do you have an idea percolating?
I have another
what's gonna-
idea
yeah.
percolating, and
The Brian and Ray story or something like that? Yeah.
I haven't thought about
Yeah,
that
that
yet, but you
could
never
be,
know. Actually, I've been doing.
You could do it in rap.
I've been doing cabaret shows with other people. I have two people primarily that I work with, and it's become a thing that I love to do. Especially the last couple of years with Melissa Kolchinsky, we have done a whole series of cabarets in Philadelphia and a few little traveling up in the Poconos, and New Hope, and
Great.
out at Fire Island.
Oh.
And a thing that I
And
love about
here
it
in
is,
Provincetown?
we haven't yet. I think we probably will,
Uh-huh.
but we haven't yet. But I love the fact that we can put a show together and rehearse it and put it on stage, and an audience comes to hear us. The business of developing a musical is a long and arduous process, and just to get the money together for a very simple off-Broadway production is daunting. And it'll happen for this Eleanor and Hick musical.
It will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you expect money would come from for
Well,
that?
eventually, I think a theater company will adopt
Get excited
us
about it.
and the project.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you lose control when that happens?
To some degree, yes.
I don't mean,
Yeah.
I mean, do you
Yeah.
lose control of the music?
Both, actually. Not of the music.
Mhm.
The words in the music remain my property, you might say.
Uh-huh.
But a theater company might have other ideas about how they want it produced, who they want in it. But Peg Stafford and I, who are writing it together, continue to own the material. So someone would have to get our approval to
Right.
change it.
Speaking of change, there are people who are probably thinking we have the radio on here. We're in Provincetown, and there are musicians out on the street playing.
That's nice.
This is our
Little background
experience.
music.
Yeah. When I was doing Kate Clinton's, a beer truck stopped, and I said, "Just keep going." That's Provincetown. What's your favorite song that you've written? If you have one favorite right now that you have written, what would it be?
Well, sort of a tender ballad called "I'll Call You Lover."
I'll Call You Lover.
And
Is that from the Gene and Bruce show?
No, it was in 10% Review.
Okay.
And a sort of a racy song called "The Military Fight Song" about a veteran who goes around the world and sleeps with enemy soldiers.
Oh, provocative.
Yes, sex rather than fighting was his way of life.
Oh, that's very...
So I would, it's hard to say, and usually when somebody asks me what's your favorite song, I just avoid answering. But
Yeah.
you got
Yeah,
me. You didn't get me to rap, but you got me to name a couple songs.
Although I am running out of time.
Oh well, now I'm ready to rap.
Okay, let's go. So, Tom Wilson Weinberg, thank you so much for what you've contributed to our lives. You did it with humor and music and allowed people to feel good and feel normal at a time in which they were told not to. So,
Thank you.
You are a star in our lives.
Thank you,
Tom
Brian.
Wilson, thank you very much.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
The day is done. It's time to find their shelter hidden in the dunes and fall asleep amidst the music of the loons. You and me, lesbian seagull, we'll just watch the world go by. Just you and me, lesbian seagull. Side by side we'll be till we die. You and I, we can make it if we try. Our love will keep us flying high until we die.
Gotta have pride. Been around too long to keep it inside. Pride. Can't sit back and watch from the side.